All right, everyone, let's get started. Today is February 3rd, okay? Good afternoon to everyone out there. Of course, in some countries, it might not be afternoon, maybe it's morning or night, but I hope everyone out there has a good day, all right? Have a great day. Thank God we're back, right? I'm back here with videos on YouTube. I didn't record any videos in January. I had some personal problems, but thank God we're getting things back on track, right? And getting back to it, we're coming back in full force both on YouTube and in the community, right? The community didn't stop, but I was posting less frequently, right? So we're in a delicate moment in the market, right? Where both Bitcoin and, altcoins and even assets that are stronger, right? Like the dollar, gold, right? There have been some really strong movements, right? Both up and down, right? The crypto market itself is being affected in a negative way, right? Taking the global economy into consideration. But thank God, I believe that soon we'll have some good opportunities, both for trading and for investing, right? So today I'm going to talk to you about the main assets in the market, crypto, and see what upcoming opportunities we might have. We have Bitcoin reaching an extreme region, a very important, very interesting area, and we'll probably have some good opportunities now. What's happening with Bitcoin is this. At the turn of last year, starting in October, November, we began a correction movement. I even talked about this move, and in the last videos, even within the community, right? So what's happening? We are now, right? Coming to sweep the external liquidity of the range we had, right? Our range started here and ended here. So it was invalidated the moment the price broke. And this bottom here, this bottom was established once this top was broken. So we had the formation of a bottom here and this range is being invalidated. What do we have here that's interesting to observe? We have an interesting scenario, which is the macro range. This range here, we're on the weekly chart, but it's actually a monthly range. So it starts here and ends here. Within this range, the base of the internal range is the internal liquidity of the larger range, the bigger one, right? So we have this region from 74, 1,526 as liquidity. It's considered internal liquidity of the monthly range. So taking that into consideration, what am I waiting for now? I'm waiting for the price to come and sweep liquidity below 74,500 to do the mitigation, right? Starting from our point of interest, right? We are seeing a significant upward movement. Okay. Let's look at the monthly time frame here. Look, on the monthly chart, right? Our key level is the highest boundary area of this last candle right here, the red candle, right? So this is my key level, my most interesting region, which is the region of 65,000. Okay, but right? When I switch to the weekly, I see an internal order block here, and it's also interesting. It's in the region of 69,700. Okay, 69,800. So with Bitcoin, I could start splitting up buy positions in the region of 69,800 and in the region of 65,700. Okay. And even in the region from 63 to 60, okay, I could accumulate long positions, okay? And in this setup, in this scenario, right, we can see that we would have a pretty big move, right? It would be about 13% from 69 to 60. But here we can work with lower leverage, okay? We can use lower leverage to build swing positions. Alongside that, for those who have capital to invest, I do recommend that you start, yes, to split up your buys at 69, 65, 60, okay? I believe it's very unlikely that Bitcoin will reach the 49,000 region where the external liquidity of the monthly range is. That's very unlikely to happen. What I believe Bitcoin might do is this: come accumulate here in this region and then start moving. I believe in this possibility. So starting from 69, 65, 60, I'll be accumulating long positions. Alright? Alongside that, when the price reaches these regions, we'll be able to catch a lot. A lot of trades, plenty of intraday and scalp opportunities because we'll have a clear bias. In the current region, we can look for sells, yes, on smaller time frames like the 1 hour, 15 minute, or even 4-hour charts. But for that, what do we need the price to do? That it sweeps the internal liquidity. Well, so in this case, look, the video shows that a lot of internal liquidity has accumulated in this region, and we could be, looking for trades in this region. Here, between these regions, we could be looking to set up shorts, right? However, in the market, it's having a lot of trouble making a pullback, right? Usually it doesn't pull back like it did in this region. Here, look, it also doesn't sweep the internal liquidity, right? So it moved without sweeping internal liquidity, so that could happen here. So the best thing is for us to wait for Bitcoin to make an interesting move for us. All right, let's move on. Now let's talk about Ethereum. Okay, it's another trade that's coming up. It's something else that's coming, right? Interesting area, Ethereum, right? It made a very similar move though. It held at this first key level and did the same thing, formed a bottom, then formed a top, and then made a new lower low, so it invalidated this order block here. Even though the price hasn't broken its lowest point yet, where there's internal and external liquidity, it's already been invalidated because the price broke this low, so it made a boss for us here, so it's already been invalidated. Now we have some interesting liquidity in Ethereum around the 2100 region. What happens when I switch to the monthly chart? I notice an interesting scenario, which is the following. In Ethereum, I have two very interesting things, which is this key level, right? Which I marked in green, okay? Which is the upper part of this last block. And above this block, what do we have here? A BPR, right? A monthly BPR. This monthly BPR, because it's a monthly BPR, is quite strong, okay? So after the price sweeps this monthly liquidity here, I believe the price could accumulate here and then make an expansive move. It's a distribution, so the price could settle in this BPR region. Along with this key level, accumulate and then start a quick move. It's a distribution move. In the same way, it might just touch and keep going, okay? Without accumulating. Well, so for Ethereum, I would look to build long positions in Ethereum between 2070, right? It's 2070 to 1960. Excellent position, okay? Excellent position for a trade. Now, if you want to take a setup with lower leverage, right? To hold a position for longer, you can press between 2080 and 1960 and the region of from 1750 to 1800, okay? Then we could catch a swing with 2 to 3 times leverage. Okay, holding it. There's room for it to go down, right? For us, holding a trade for a longer period, okay, that would also be a super interesting setup. We're waiting for this liquidity sweep and the mitigation of this BPR, okay? It would be really interesting to see Ethereum making this move. Another interesting one is also the altcoin Anir, and Anita is also reaching an interesting region right there. I've already set up a swing position in it and I'm going to hold the position. Now it's coming to mitigate, right? This last demand zone here is a really interesting zone, okay? I believe the price will probably accumulate in this region, right here where this boy is, and then soon make an upward move. I actually believe it will be a pretty big move. We also have Sol, right? And Sol is another one. It's a bit more complex because it's a strong altcoin. A strong one, right? So it accumulates a lot, so much so that it hasn't dropped as much as the others, right? What's interesting about Sol here is the following, right? We're coming to sweep internal liquidity. We're seeing internal liquidity being swept. It's our liquidity. It's in the 95,000 region. Okay, after this liquidity sweep, what do I think the price might do? There's this internal liquidity, which is the liquidity from accumulation, and there's this structural liquidity, which is the 79 region. But this structural liquidity is quite significant, so I believe the price could come to sweep this liquidity and react immediately. Between 79, right? Between 79 and 62, I believe it's a great region to let go, right? Using it as a base for a new push, okay? Here I'm giving, right, the HTF analysis. So I'm only looking at really higher time frame charts, right? We're looking at the monthly, the weekly, so it's for you to have a trading bias, right? Where we can trade, where we won't trade. Well, so Sol is also looking pretty interesting in this region. Here it's between 79 and 62. Very interesting. Okay guys, so the video doesn't get too long. I'm gonna wrap it up here. Okay, I'll share some analysis in the community. Join the community, and if you can join in the VIP community, let's go for it. Market, it's going to deliver great opportunities this year. So everyone is saying the market is that it's collapsing, that it's getting bad. Actually, the market is tough, okay, but it's in this difficulty that opportunities arise. The best opportunities. So let's look at the positive side. Let's go for it.